Put your phones on silent.
Put your phones on silent. Hi, everybody. Are you a mom or a dad and you just found out that your child is lesbian, gay, bisexual, or trans? And maybe you're finding it a little bit challenging, are you looking for some support, some comfort, and some guidance? Well, if that's you, you came to the right spot, because today our show is about embracing your gay child, and I have some amazing moms here today on the panel, and I'm going to be introducing them in just a second. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jamie Smith. I'm a certified LGBT life coach and a certified law of attraction facilitator, and you're watching episode 1, very first show, yay, of the Hangout with Jamie show. And the purpose of this show is to inspire, uplift, and empower the LGBTQ family, the LGBTQ community, family, and friends. So welcome, everybody. I just want to give a quick shout out to our all of the first-time viewers. Obviously, this is the first live show, but I have done a series of spotlight interviews over on hangoutwithjamie.com of people who are making a difference in the LGBTQ community, so you might want to check that out. And I just also want to give a quick shout out to those of you who have joined my G+ community. It's called the Happy, Healthy, and Gay Live Your Best LGBTQ Life community on Google+. It's a worldwide law of attraction community, and people are joining from all over the world. It's completely private and safe, and I'm really, really, really proud of it. I put different law of attraction tips and inspirational posts for you to go out and create your best life. And that is the purpose of this show. So why don't we start by introducing my amazing panel today. Why don't we start with Maureen. Maureen, why don't you introduce yourself, please?
Thank you. Yes, my name is Maureen Orman, and I'm from Vancouver. I'm a very good friend of Jamie's, and I'm the comment reader on the show. And I have a gay daughter who's 29 years old, and she came out when she was about 20.
Cool. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Okay. Mom, why don't we go to you?
Sure. I'm Julie Smith. I live in Montreal, and I have 2 wonderful gay sons. They're age 39 and 37, and came out around 17, 18. And so it's been quite a while, and I'm just so happy to be here. And I'm also a life coach, and you can contact me through Balanced Vision Coaching at gmail.com. So looking forward to the show.
Thanks, Mom. Okay, Carol.
Hi.
Introduce yourself, please. Welcome.
Hi. I'm Carol Mason, and I'm from Victoria, BC, and I have 2 gay sons.
Okay, I'm losing the sound there, Carol, for some reason, all of a sudden.
Okay.
Oh, there, it's better. It's back. Okay.
How am I now?
Perfect.
Hi. Should I start over? I'm Carol Mason, and I'm from Victoria.
Okay, we're losing the sound again. Sorry, Carol.
Oh, no.
All right. So Carol's from. It's okay. Carol's from Victoria. She just said that she has 2 gay sons. So hopefully we can fix the sound, and then we'll come back to you.
Okay.
Oh, we just heard you now. Can you just mention?
Yeah.
Can you just mention your blog?
Sure. I actually do.
No, we're losing you again, Carol. Sorry. When you were holding the microphone, it was better for some reason. We could hear you perfectly.
I am holding it, but
Okay.
I'll try a different thing.
Yeah, you're cutting out, unfortunately. Okay. Sorry, darling. But you have a great blog there. We'll mention it a little later. Okay, Nicole.
Hi. My name is Nicole, and I'm a friend of Jamie's. We work together as well, and I have a daughter who is 15.
Mm-hmm.
She's recently come out around Christmas time, and yeah, so I'm just here to talk about that.
Thank you so much for being here. All right, everybody. So today's show topic is about embracing your gay child, and there are some people out there who are still finding it a little bit challenging. So I would love to jump right in to hear about you guys to hear about your process. And Carol, maybe because we can hear the shuffling, maybe if you could put yourself on mute while you're setting that up, that would be helpful.
Okay.
All right. Sound good though? Are you good now?
I may be good.
Okay, that sounds good.
You want to test it?
Still cutting out there.
Oh.
Okay, we'll try in a little bit. So I'd love to hear from each of you. You all have gay kids, and I'd love to hear maybe starting with Maureen. Maureen, what your story, your process, your journey. Love to hear just from each of you for a couple of minutes.
Well, my daughter appeared to be gay from the time she was a little girl, and as much as I considered myself to be the most open and accepting person possible, particularly around this issue, I still had a hard time with it. And the best advice that I got at the time was that, from a counselor, was that I really needed to completely not just embrace her, but her friends as well, because she did have some gay friends that she would bring to the house, and I just needed to completely accept them and love them and have it just be normal, just be like anything else that she might have told me she was dealing with or that she was. And the interesting thing was she came out very shortly after my dad died, and I had remembered him saying a lot of negative things about homosexuality from the time I was little, and I know that I internalized a lot of this because about 2 years later I came out as a lesbian as well. And this was something that had been so buried and so unconscious that it was as amazing to everyone else, to me, as it was to everyone else. And so now we have this incredibly close bond, not just because of this, but just because we really rediscovered our relationship. And yeah, and she's just an awesome human being.
She is. Actually, I want to have her on the show one day. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Maureen. Mom, how about you? You know, just for those of you who don't know, my mom and I actually, she was my on episode 2 of my Spotlight series of interviews. We did about a 15 or 20-minute interview about her whole process because she has 2 gay sons, similar to Carol. And so, Mom, would you just? I know that we had already done an interview, but I'd love to just, if you could just tell people who didn't watch that a little bit about your journey too.
Yes, well, I think to recap it all and to give some help to parents out there, it's really, looking back now, it was all a long process. It just doesn't happen overnight and say, oh, that's okay, pat them on the back and off they go. It's a process, and it's a mourning, and you start to embrace them for who they are now, not for who you thought they were, and that's the main thing. And each step is a joy along the way as you learn. It's just a whole learning process, and it turns out to be absolutely wonderful because you find out who these new wonderful human beings are.
Yeah,
you get
really,
to know them truly.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly.
And I love that you asked me when I was 18. Very grateful for that, actually, because I actually didn't think. Sometimes children don't realize that they perceive that maybe their parents might not understand, and so I held it inside for a while. But you asked me, so I'm very, very grateful for that. And also, you know, when my brother came out, obviously that was a little bit of a shocker and hard for you. But what I thought was amazing, because a lot of people out there, and I had mentioned that in the show with you, Mom, was that the #1 reason why parents apparently abandon their children is because they're worried about what the neighbors and what the family will think. And I remember you. How did you deal with that?
Well, of course you did go through all of that because it was very new to me, and But I realized that if these are good friends and loving friends, they will accept my kids as before, that it shouldn't make any difference. And if they don't, then, you know, we can't be friends. That's how I dealt with it.
That's why I love you so much. That's awesome. Thank you, Mom. Thank you. You're awesome.
Okay.
All right. Nicole, why don't you share a little bit about your story?
Well, mine is more recent. My daughter, as I said, she's 15, and this Christmas she came out to her father and to myself, which was a shock for us.
Yes.
I have many, many friends in the gay community and work with them very closely, and I did not see this coming. So, although it was a shock, it was not a big deal for myself or for her dad.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But so it's relatively new. So as far as growing pains for us, and as if how we're dealing with it, it's a day-by-day situation, and so far it's been fantastic. She's very open and she tells us everything. Her friends, I think this is a huge thing, that nowadays for children, they're not being bullied, they're not being ostracized, they're being supported by the community, by their friends. And funny enough, her principal at her school is a lesbian, and she came up to my daughter at school and kind of said, you know, I heard, and I want to let you know that I think that's fantastic that you're so open about it, and if anyone's bothering you, you let me know. And it's been, the support has been amazing for her, so she really doesn't feel any different.
Wow, that is awesome. And would you mind sharing how she came out?
That was, well, to her father and I, it was more of a, she just said it.
She just said it. Yeah.
And it wasn't a big deal. I said, oh, okay. And she actually tells her friends that, oh, my mom was pretty cool. That she was like, okay, that's cool. What do you want for dinner?
That's awesome.
Which is kind of how I am. But not even a week later, she posted on Instagram that she was gay.
Wow.
She told, and she's got friends, family, everybody follows her on Instagram. So there was an outpouring of support, telling her, Bella, we love you. We think it's great that you're so amazing and courageous, and whatever you want or need, we're here for you, and it doesn't make a difference. So she's that type of kid. She's just, here, take me as I am, and if not, then see you later. And she's actually taught me, you know what, you do have to be yourself, and if people are going to be there for you, they're going to be there for you.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much, Nicole. All right, Carol, how's your sound? Hopefully we can hear from you as well.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's not so far so good.
So far, so good. Maybe I should talk a little bit slower so there's no delay. Is that okay?
Can you guys hear her, or?
No.
No.
It's coming and going.
Oh. Well, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to fix this.
Yeah, that's too bad. Well, I'm going to mention your blog.
Is there a microphone on your computer? No.
Okay, all right. Sorry,
I'm
Carol.
sorry.
That's okay. Too bad, because we can hear you sometimes and not other times. But you have an amazing blog. It's called howtobeconscious.com. Go check it out. I started reading it last night, and it's really awesome. So good job for that. Okay.
Thank
all right.
you.
So Maureen, why don't we go and see, are there any comments? Anybody leaving any comments? And
We don't have a comment yet, but
Okay.
anyone who's listening, if you'd like to just say hi and tell us where you're from, that would be great.
that would be awesome. And you can ask questions too if you have any questions.
Yeah.
So somebody actually wrote to me though, and I want to read this question because I thought it was interesting. I'm not going to say their name, but this mom wrote to me and said, my son just came out to me, but I feel conflicted by my religious upbringing, which taught me that homosexuality is a sin. But I don't want to lose a relationship with my son. Well, so it's so interesting because, you know, I teach law of attraction seminars, and the one thing that I talk about is that, well, we need to, sounds like you need a vibe reset, or to reset. Instead of focusing on what you don't want, the reset buttons, the sentence that I teach people to start focusing on is to ask yourself, so what do you want? You obviously want, instead of focusing on what you don't want, start focusing on what you do want. It sounds like you want to have a relationship with your son, which is great. So here's the deal. I did some research for you, and I started looking online for some support for you, and I found some amazing things. The first thing I found was this amazing film called leadwithlovefilm.com. It's support for parents with gay kids, and it talks about, there's psychologists on there, there are ministers on there, and it was really, 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 really amazing. And they said in the movie that churches are now releasing strong statements urging parents to love, support, and embrace their gay children. And there are even churches out there that are saying that being gay is a gift from God, which is what I believe. So, so you might want to, if you're going to a church that is teaching those things, you might also, my suggestion is to maybe look at finding another community that is more accepting and embracing, because that's what you want. The other thing is I found this book too. It's amazing. I started reading it too as well. It's called Mom, I'm Gay. And it says, loving your LGBTQ child without sacrificing your faith. And it's a really good book because it talks about that. You know what? If it's not about love, it's not about God. So that might be of help for you. And in the movie leadwithlovefilm.com, I found these two quotes, and you all know I like signs and stuff. So I printed these out, and I just wanted to read them to you. It says, this one, it says, your child may need you and the family now more than ever. He or she is still the same person. And this is actually from the Bishops' Committee on Marriage and Family of the Roman Catholic Church. So, I mean, this is the latest statement that the churches are releasing. And then there was this one as well, from the Roman Catholic Church as well, that God does not love someone any less simply because he or she is homosexual. This is from the Bishops' Committee on Marriage and Family of the Roman Catholic Church. That is a powerful statement right there for you. So I hope you find that helpful. And yeah, so my personal belief is that, and the reason that I started this show was a quote from a life coach called Karen McCrocklin, who's going to be on one of my upcoming shows. And she did a TED Talk, and she talks about how being gay is a gift. And her quote is really what inspired me to launch my coaching in this direction. And she said that being LGBT is not something to be overcome, but it's an opportunity to use your life as healers and teachers. And I truly believe that if you have a gay child, they're healers and they're teachers. And so, you know, and I think it's really important to love them, because in the movie also, I just wanted to read one last thing here, is that studies now show, as well as psychologists are saying, that when a person is rejected by their parents for being gay, they are at an increased risk for suicide, for low self-esteem, for substance abuse, and depression. One study also found out that these kids were 8 times more likely to commit suicide and 3 times more likely to use drugs. So parents' actions have a huge impact on a child's future. So I just want to acknowledge all of you moms on my panel for having embraced your gay children. You are lights in this world, and to all of you who are doing the same, I salute you. And so we are coming up to close to the end of the show, so I would love...
I have a comment, Jamie. Can I read a comment?
Let's read it. Go for it.
This is from Danelle Hill from Hayward, California.
Hey.
Wow, Jamie, it's only 8 minutes in, and what you've put together, I'm so touched by what you've created. Very blessed to be here and to be listening to you all.
Thank you so much for watching. Thanks, Maureen, for reading that. That's awesome. All right, well, I would love to hear from each of the moms on my panel. What is one thing that parents can do if let's say a parent is sort of finding it challenging? What is one thing you think a parent can do to make it easier and to lead with love? Why don't we start with Mom? Why don't we start with you?
Okay. Well, I must admit, listening to Nicole's story of her daughter coming out at 15, I was thinking, oh, I just wish that 20, 30 years ago when my sons came out, that it would have been that easy for them. And so I think we've come such a long way, and that is so comforting to know, and to know what a safe community she's in her school. So I had to say that, Nicole. And I think, you know, with your daughter or son coming out, I think you just have to see that they're still the same person that you've loved all the time before they came out, and that won't change. And only now that they're out, that you can live with truth, with real truth, and keep loving them as they always have and support them. So that's what I have to say.
Great piece of advice. Thank you, Mom. All right, Maureen.
Well, one thing that I just like to point out, that as much as there is so much more acceptance, like in the schools and everywhere, and certainly in maybe all the circles that we hang out in, there's still a huge backlash going on. And I think it's important to teach kids, yeah, everybody isn't like that, and you need to watch out for your safety. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, that's important to do that. And the best advice I would have is that you've got to really listen, and if you're having a hard time, to get support from someone else who can really support you in staying open, staying loving, and letting go of your judgments and getting over yourself, basically, if you've got those going on.
Absolutely. Thanks, Maureen. I love that. That's a great tip. I mean, if you're really, really struggling, there's tons if you Google, everything is available on Google nowadays. If you go to Google and search support groups for parents, you know, there's tons of stuff, or therapists who specialize in that. Yeah. I'm actually hoping, Susan Cottrell, if you're listening, I'd like to interview you. But there's lots of people out there supporting parents. So absolutely. Thank you very much. Nicole.
Yes.
What's one thing parents can do, in your opinion?
I think that, well, for me it is new, but I and she's a teenager, so this is, it kind of goes hand in hand, but to give them space to, she's changing every single day with what she likes, and that's as a teenage girl. And on top of it, she's trying to discover herself as a teenage lesbian. I know that it's hard for her dad, because he's thinking, he puts her in a box one day, and the next day she's changed, and he goes, I don't understand. She liked this yesterday, and now she's like this. And I said, because she's discovering herself. This is she's come to accept who she is as a person, but now she's got to kind of figure out where she fits in her life. So I think the best piece of advice is just to sit back and let her discover herself, and not try, or himself, and not try to put them in a box, and just to be there. You know, like, keep the communication open. Listen is a huge thing. To listen and to let them know that you're there, and you're not trying to push or prod or anything, and just to be that support for them. I think that she appreciates that.
Awesome. You're an inspiration. Thank you, Nicole. And unfortunately, we can't hear from Carol, but maybe, Carol, if you have advice, you can leave it in the comments section later on after the show. And then I'd love to have you back once your sound comes back. We could have you back on the show anytime, because I adore you and I think you're awesome. All right.
Jamie, can I say one more thing?
Yes, please.
I would just like to make sure that we're really inclusive of trans kids and trans folk. Yes. Because all the references have been to he or she, and trans kids very often do not relate to this gender binary. So I think it's really important that we acknowledge that.
Thank you for bringing that up, Maureen. And absolutely. So my happy, healthy, and gay community includes LGBT, and I also just posted an article in there actually just recently about, you know, there's a mom who, I think she wrote a book about rediscovering her trans child and embracing it as well. So, and I also have an in-person meetup group. If you live in the Vancouver area, it's for LGBT and family and friends, and it's a law of attraction group, a meetup group. We meet once or twice a month. We started with 4 people. I think there's like 280 people or something in the meetup group, and it's an inclusive space for everybody. All are welcome. So thanks for mentioning that, Maureen. And that's basically about it. Are there any other comments?
No, that was
all right.
That was
great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, everybody, for watching episode number 1. Maureen, what is episode number 2 going to be about?
Episode 2 is going to be about how to stop attracting negative things and how to live your best gay life.
Yes, absolutely. That's going to be a really good law of attraction. So to help you, because here's the deal, what I've learned is that, you know, the law of attraction states you get in your life whatever you give your energy, attention, and focus on. That's the first part. The second part is whether positive or negative. So we're going to teach you how to stop attracting negative things. So I look forward to that show. Thank you to everybody on my panel. And if you want to sign up, because I have an amazing lineup of inspiring guests coming up, just go to hangoutwithjamie.com and sign up, and you'll get notifications of the next show topic. All right. Well, thanks for being here, everybody, on my panel. Let's say goodbye to everybody watching.
Bye. Thanks, Jamie.
Okay.
Great show.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.